Okay, this is a quick video tutorial on setting up the Arena4D Point Server. So firstly, you just need to double click on the Arena4D Point Server icon and a small window will appear just like so, and you will see at the top of the left hand side of the screen there is 4 tabs. Fairly straightforward. The first one is a hard disk, i.e. the location of where you want to serve your point cloud data from. The second one are the settings. The third one is network activity, and the fourth one is about the software application that you're using now, so you can find out your version numbers and things like that in that on that tab. Okay, so looking at the hard disk, the first tab. So what we need to do, we need to go into the settings tab, which is the next one along. We're going to click on that, and we're going to click on the open file folder at the bottom right hand side and select a drive and directory where our point clouds are going to be. When I say point clouds, we only serve the Veesus Point Cloud format, the VPC format, so you'll need to convert your point clouds into that format before we start. Okay, so once you've done that, we've selected the location and we've hit OK. Now if you go back to your first tab, your hard drive tab, you should see firstly at the top of the directory structure below the tab the location of your data, and then you should see a list of all the Veesus Point Cloud format data inside that folder. Okay, and if we carry on, we can then select each one of these in turn and click the enabled tick button in the right hand side. Okay, so we've found the point cloud data, we've enabled it, but now we need to set up the local host. Okay, so we do that by clicking on the settings tab again, going to the address line, and for a local host we can use the address /127.0.0.1, and we also need to set up a port number, which in this case we're just going to use 10123. And once we've done that, that is it. That's all we need to do. We're going to click on the big button, go button if you like, at the top right hand side of the screen, and turn it on, and you'll see it go yellow, and that should now be serving the point clouds from that directory that we selected using the IP address 127.0.0.1 and the port number. Okay, so now we need to set up the client side. Now the client could be Data Studio, it could be the Rhino plugin, point clouds for Rhino, or it could be the web browser where we use the Poetry network. Okay, so firstly we're going to go to Data Studio. We're going to go to System, and there is an option on the system settings for Point Server. So simply select that. You'll see on the right hand side of the screen a tool palette appear with a couple of windows. One is the URL, so you need to type in the URL for the point server. Now this needs to correspond to the one that we entered into the point server, so you need to type in 127.0.0.1, then a colon, and then the port, which was 10.123. So you need to type all that in, and I'm just going to do that right now so you can see me doing that. And we're going to give it a name. We're going to call that, in this case, point server. So I'll just type that in now so you can see it all happening. And that is effectively allowing Data Studio to look for that particular point server. So now, if we go and load a point cloud, so we go right click and we're going to go to the point cloud option, the dialog appears, and you will see in the middle window of the open point cloud dialog there's a point server which we've called point server. That could have been anything. And to the right hand side you can see the point clouds that are located in that point server. So we've got london.vpc, pump.vpc and hgv.vpc. Okay, so we can click on any of those. So we'll just click on the pump in this case, and that should load, and it does, and we can now use that inside Data Studio. So you can see it in the main browser window, And in the left-hand side, in the project workspace area, you can see that the icon next to the london.vpc data title is now blue, and it has a hard disk element to it, indicating that this point cloud is being served from a point server. The reason we've got that is because you could actually load up 2 different point clouds from 2 different locations. One could be a local hard drive and one could be a point server. Okay, so that was fairly simple. We won't load any more, just the one's fine. But I will show you now how to set up and configure the Rhino plugin the same way. So loading up the Rhino itself and the plugin, we need to select the Point Clouds tab under the Arena4D plugin. And once we've done that, a dialog will appear, and there will be one called Point Server. There's 2 boxes. One's got the server names and one's got the point cloud names. So we need to set up, firstly, the location of the data. So we need to use the address again, 127.0.0.1:10.123. So that again corresponds to the point server address that we set up at the start, and it also corresponds to what we set up for Data Studio. So both Data Studio and Rhino can look at the same data on point server at the same time. Okay, so with that entered in, you'll then see the point clouds again that are in that location on the point server, and you can simply click on one, so london.vpc in this case, and to see that you need to select it in the point clouds dialog and click the magnifying glass, and then you see your 4 windows within Rhino have the point cloud data within them. Okay, the last way to view the data is by using the web browser. Now we've already set this up to use the same address, the 127.0.0.1:10.123, but in this case we also need to add the /web to it. And once you've done that, you'll then see the same point clouds again listed, same 3. And in this case we're going to just load up the london.vpc data again, and you will see that data appear in the Poetry viewer, and you can then start to manipulate that data from within the Poetry network. That is it in terms of setting up and using the point server.